I have had this now for over 4 months, and I thought it would be a good time for me to do a review. So this is the actual box that I got this from, and I bought this from Amazon. And I actually got this on a Black Friday deal, so I got this at a really good price, over £150 off it, which was why I bought it, because it was a little bit expensive to buy it at the full retail price. So this has got a 5-year guarantee on it. It's got the Duo Clean technology, which means it's got the multiple rollers, one for kind of debris and one for carpet, and it can suck up large and small particles, so it's great for hard floor and carpets. And so yeah, this is the kind of box. Give you a bit of info on there, and it has this kind of unique feature where it's called the lift away, where you can actually take this away from the main kind of vacuum suction device section and pull it away and have this separate handle, so you can really easily put it under things like furniture and beds and all that kind of stuff. And I'll actually show you that in action, because it's one of the reasons I got this, and it's a very helpful feature. This has also got the HEPA filters built into it as well. So I got this vacuum cleaner because we recently got a cat, and so I wanted something that can take all the allergens and dust, etc. And that's got that built in, and the filters are completely washable as well, so you don't have to kind of replace them. And so yeah, so it's a kind of an upright cleaner, but it's also got this lift away cleaning feature. So I'll just show you the actual cleaner now. So what I had before was this, which is my Dyson DC25, and I had this for a good number of years and have been using it. And if I put it next to it, this is the Shark, which is, you can see, is considerably smaller. Okay, it's actually slightly taller in height, but actually in terms of size and weight, it's a lot lighter than the DC25. Now I know that's actually a slightly older Dyson model, but it's the only vacuum cleaner that I could kind of compare it to that's comparable to this one, really. I also had a Henry Hoover, which I absolutely loved, but I was having problems with that in terms of the fact that it was giving me a bit of backache actually pulling that thing around. It's a great vacuum, very powerful, but I wanted something that had the HEPA filters and kind of this kind of versatility of being able to disconnect things and move it around and easily put things under the bed and stuff, which has been great. So what I'll do is I'm going to show you around this, and then I'll sort of change the camera angle so you can see other things. So first of all, what we have is this is kind of got my first comparison really is that this is extremely well built. It's a very well built device. The thought of everything, like even the design, it's just, compared to the Dyson, I've had 2 Dysons in the past, and I don't know what it is that they're doing, but I actually think the quality of this device is a lot better. They've just thought about things a lot better, and the functionality and the build quality just seems just slightly better than the Dyson. I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but I think it's just the thought about things in a better way. So the actual footprint of this, you can see, is a lot smaller in terms of the actual head of the device is a lot smaller, and that actually, some people say, oh well, it means you have to go over the carpet a few more times, but what I've found is this is so much better in a standard home, because you can get into areas where the larger head on the Dyson doesn't get into. And you can see I've got loads of knock marks on here because you're trying to get into areas and you end up smacking the Dyson against furniture and stuff. And not that you don't get that on a smaller Hoover, but it can get into places where the Dyson didn't get into. And I find that the Dyson, the actual spinning mechanism to suck things up is pretty good. It's very good, but it only has this kind of one power option on this particular vacuum. So you switch it on and it kind of blasts away, and it does pick things up, but because the head's so big, sometimes it can miss out on parts and doesn't quite suck everything up. Whereas on the Shark, it has on the right hand side an area that allows you to suck things up against the wall. So if you're going against a skirting board, this kind of easily sucks debris up and is very good. And the Duo Clean technology on this is absolutely fantastic. I think it's brilliant in terms of being that kind of versatile function, from switching from carpets to hard floor. And I've got a combination of this kind of hard floor, and I've got kind of carpet in my living room. So I found that's been very useful. It also has, on this function here, it's got 2 switches. So if you see on here, you've got hard floor and then you've also got carpet. So it nicely switches between the two. Very easy to do as well and operate. What I also like about the way this has been built is that all the tools kind of nicely fit on. And the only tool that doesn't fit onto this is the rotating brush, which I'll show you a little bit later on. But it's just quite easy that the fact that these things clip on, they can just easily pull off. I've only got one hand at the moment, but I'll show you that in a moment. And on the other side, you've got your kind of, little brush for upholstery and stuff, which I've been using quite a lot. And then you've got the cable management system, which is on this kind of side here, which rotates. You can pull the cable off nice and easy. It's got a nice long cable, so I find that I only need to plug this in downstairs once, and then I can just disconnect it and take it upstairs as well. And this kind of lift away feature, because the cable is connected to the lift away part, it means that if you're going upstairs, you can easily take this upstairs just by carrying this section, and you don't have to carry the whole thing up. So that's pretty much what it looks like. You've got these rubber wheels at the bottom. You've got this section here for the brush roll. So in here you've got this very, very small footprint head, and that's where all the mechanism is for the actual brush heads itself. But you can easily open this up by just see where it says brush roll access. Now this is something I found on the Dyson you can't do, or you can't do it very easily unless you've got a screwdriver. You have to kind of dismantle it. So on this, I've actually thought about the fact that you might want to clean the spinning rotating brushes in here, especially when you've got hairs in there. And I'll just show you that really quickly. If I just kind of move this back a little bit, just so that you can see, bring it forwards. So you've got on here two sections. There's brush roll access. If I press it here, I press it there, obviously it's easy, you've got two hands, and that simply comes off, nice and easy. And there you go, you've got access to the brush. Now this brush, again, if you pull this away, if I lift that up and pull it away, I can take the whole brush out if I wanted to. But they've even thought about the fact that you might want to clean some of the things that are wrapped around. You can see I've got stuff that's wrapped around here at the moment. And actually they've got a little tool in here, which is really cool. Got a tiny little brush at the end to brush things off, but it's also got this little hook, so you can kind of run that down this channel and actually get rid of debris. And you can see that works really, really well. Nice and easy to pull things away, and that way you just pull stuff off, and it's nice and easy to clean, no messing around. And there you go. That's straightforward. So I love the fact they've thought about that, and they've even given you this little tool. That's just attention to detail that you don't get on a lot of vacuum cleaners. So you can clip that back in. Like I say, you can pull the roll out, and you can even disconnect on here on the side. So if I show you, this is obviously the dual clean technology, and on there there's a button. You can press that and it will actually just drop the roller out as well. So it's super easy to clean. You can wash this if you wanted to. Everything's very, very well thought of. So to put that back, all you do, pop that in like so. That clips into play. So dead easy to do. You can, no worries at all in terms of cleaning the parts. On the front as well, you can see that you got these lights. Now I thought that was a bit of a gimmick, and am I going to really use headlights on the front of my vacuum? Actually, it's really, really very, very good, because what I found is sometimes when I vacuum, you can notice on certain floors that you just vacuum along, you've got the lights on in the house, but you can't see certain particles that are actually around on the surface. And what I've noticed is that these lights are so bright that when you actually run them along, especially near something like a mat or an area where there might be dust gathering, you can see all the dust particles that have gathered along the floor, and so that's really, really helpful. So what you've also got is, here's one of the actual allergen filters, and if I remember, you just pull that off the top from the bottom, and you've got access to the filter there, so you can take that out and you wash it. Again, very, very easy to take all these things off. There's no kind of messing around or clips or switches, and obviously I'm doing this with one hand as well, so I'm holding the camera in the other, so very, very easy to kind of manage. If I just lift the vacuum up, so a couple of buttons at the top. One is the lift away button, and I'll actually show you that when I put the camera on the camera stand, and the other one is the power button, so the power button's there as well. and you've got this option here for the wand release. So if you press that button, you can take the entire long section of the wand out if you've got some hard to reach places, and then use some of the attachments as well. And I'll show you all that in a moment. And up here as well, you've got a handle release button. So if you press the handle release, doing this again with one hand, you can see that that comes out, and you can add an attachment to that, and then you can pop that back in. You've also got a button here to control the suction flow, so if you wanted to have lower suction, maybe doing curtains or something, you can kind of minimise that, and obviously air will come out of here, and then you put it back, and that's for maximum suction. So let me just put the camera on the mount, and I can just go through a few other things with you as well. Okay, so what I've done, I simply unplugged, plugged the actual vacuum in, so you can see a few of the other features. I'll just switch it on so you can see how loud it is. So I'm just going to press the power button now. And actually, it isn't that loud. It's quite quiet compared to some vacuums. Okay. So I find that it's quieter than most vacuums that I've used in the past. Obviously when the blade's spinning, or sorry, the brushes are spinning, you'll hear a bit more noise, and depending whether you've got it on carpet mode or whether you've got it on hard floor, because on hard floor the brushes spin at a slower speed, so it makes less noise, and then when you've got it on carpet it spins at a much higher speed, so that's the kind of difference really in the noise sound that you might hear. So at the back you can see that everything's connected via this tube, and things are clipped on, but you can kind of disconnect things if you need to give you access to various different functions. So the first thing you've got is, obviously you've got this button that says wand release. If you press the wand release button, you can see that the entire section slides out, and then you can then attach some other attachments to this, maybe the brush head. So for example, I can pull that off, like this, with both hands, take that off, and then I've got the option for that kind of extra reach if I needed to, and then on here I can adjust this by pulling this back. If this works, let's have a look. Okay. So I can use that section as well. So nice and easy to use that. Simply then take it back off, and then pull this back around, slide it through, and it plugs in. And that's the nice thing about this, everything clicks in place very, very easily. You're not really messing around too much. The lift away feature, well actually I'll show you this bit first. So if I needed to use maybe a smaller area, I want to carry on vacuuming but I just got to use an attachment again, I can press this button, take this off, and again I can attach either something like that, and I can brush on the floor, or I could attach potentially the hard floor bristled brush, which allows you to do things like carpets, or for furniture, or for upholstery. Now this thing is absolutely brilliant. It's not powered. Well, my cat's coming in now to say hello. Oh no, it's running away. So it's not powered, but it has got this kind of brush mechanism in there, and it just says on the top, it says using hard floor setting on the top. So if you plug this on to this, you'll see that when I switch it on, so it's really, really powerful. And I've actually used devices in the past that powered by the actual vacuum force itself, which were pretty useless, and as soon as you put them onto the surface it stops spinning, where actually this thing carries on spinning and it's actually really, really good, as long as you don't press down too hard. And I've been using this to clean up my kind of cushions and tabletops, and anywhere where the cat's been sitting basically I've used this to kind of clean things up, and it's really, really, really good, really, really powerful. So I'll just take it off. Just show the other attachment as well, so I can attach that as well. Now this is where the lift away feature comes into hand. So if I now move across and I'm trying to potentially reach an area, you can see that the actual device the vacuum will move along with me, which can be useful, but it could be that I'm actually going up a set of stairs or something that I need to move. So what I can do is then press the lift away button on here, I press that, and the whole thing then moves away from the bottom device, and I can then hold that entire unit and I can move it to an area that I may not be able to reach if I had to carry that as well. And this is actually not too heavy, it's not too bad actually. So I tend to go upstairs and vacuum the stairs using this, and then I can come back down once I finish vacuuming the stairs and simply put the whole unit back in again, and it clicks in place. So again, very, very easy to click into place. And I think this is a brilliant feature, very, very helpful for when you're trying to reach certain areas or go upstairs or all that kind of stuff. So I can take this back off again, click it back in, and put the attachment back. Then the final kind of feature on this is the option to be able to use the lift away again. And so, for example, I am trying to maybe vacuum under a low area, and I can then press the lift away button, lift it away, and then I can carry on using this piece and simply run that section underneath wherever I'm trying to vacuum. And obviously it goes all the way down. So it does move very, very freely and easily. And what you find is, because these rotors, or the actual brushes at the front, are rotating, this kind of automatically wants to move forward. So it does pull you slightly. So that's something to bear in mind, but it does move with the action of the rotating brushes. So if I put it back and click it back into place again, sometimes I miss, but there you go, click it into place. Now what you'll see is at the moment, if I've just got it switched off, I'll show you what happens. So if I switch it on, okay, so the brushes have kicked in and it will move forward by itself. And when you lift it up into the top position, it stops spinning. So that's just to show you that when you've got the lift away feature in, when you take it off and when you have it upright, the blades or the brushes stop spinning, so you don't have to worry about it moving forwards. As soon as you tip it, it kicks into action and the actual rotating section starts spinning again, and then you're in vacuum mode. So again, I like the way that that's been thought of, and the detail and design that's gone into that, and the thought about how this operates. So bearing in mind that this does move forward by itself, it's something to, if you're not very strong, you've got problems with your wrist, you might find that the fact that this pulls away by itself, you just have to be aware of that, because it may pull you slightly further forward. If you're a bit fragile and a bit weak, that could be a bit of a problem. So other than that, what I also like on here is that all these attachments have got an easy release button on the side, so you can press the button and you can simply pull everything off. If you've got anything clogging or blocked, dead easy to fix, it's dead easy to pull out and clear. And that leads on to actually emptying this. So if you need to empty this, for whatever reason you need to empty to clear it all out, if I press these two buttons on the side, so on the side here, two little latches, just show you that a little bit closer. So two little latches here, if you press that, the entire canister comes away, and that's nice and easy, very, very nice and light. So you've got the option here to press this here, which will simply release, and then all your dust and everything else will fall out, okay? And then you've got the other option, to close that, you can press this button here. If you press that, this lid flips up, so you can then have access to taking the dust out, but you've also got access to clearing the filter as well. So there's another filter in there that you clear. So it's dead easy to clean, much easier than the Dyson. That's what the model I found had anyway, the DC25, to clear it and empty. And I think that's nice and convenient. What you'll also see as well, there's one final filter that is just here, and again, that's nice and easy to access. You can simply wash it and pop it back in. So all very, very easy to use to operate. So put that back in. So the suction on this device, so if you are after a vacuum cleaner that is very, very powerful at cleaning your carpets, that is very, very handy in terms of cleaning any kind of hard floors area with bits and pieces you might have in it, this is absolutely brilliant. What I've found is whenever I vacuum with this, basically this entire thing fills up with dust. It gets all the cat hair, it picks up, it lifts my carpet. So my carpet in my living room, when I've been using this, I found that the carpet feels much kind of, almost like it's been kind of, I don't know, blown from underneath. You can feel that it's so powerful that it's not just sucking the carpet, it's actually sucking the underlay underneath it and pulling it up. So when you walk back on it, you can kind of feel it kind of pushing into place. So I've never had that with another vacuum cleaner, so it's obviously very, very good in terms of sucking and pulling everything up from the carpet. It gets all the dust. I haven't had any problems with sneezing as well, so I've noticed since I started using this, because of the HEPA filters, it must be because it's built in, it's sucking up all the dust and all the debris from my cat and whatever else, and I haven't had any issues with sneezing. So it's been great vacuuming my bedroom, especially when the cat goes in there. And using this tool as well is super helpful for vacuuming things like, say, cushions, anything that's going to gather hair. So if you've got any pets, I strongly advise you to get something like this, because this has been absolutely brilliant. Now, they do a version of it where they have a powered pet tool. So you might find that is a better option for you. Obviously, there's a price difference as well. But I just think this is such a good vacuum cleaner. If you can get this on an offer, even if you can't, I think it's well worth it, because it takes a lot of the pain out of vacuum cleaning. Now, originally I was thinking about getting a battery-powered vacuum, but since I've had this, that kind of is not a problem anymore. I used to think, well, I hate lugging this heavy vacuum cleaner around, it's a real pain in the backside, but actually since I've had this, having this cable isn't a problem, because of the options you've got to use the lift away feature, and it's easy to go underneath the kind of tables and underneath chairs and underneath the bed. You don't have any worry about the cable, because it's not that much of a problem. I only have to plug it in twice, once downstairs and then unplug it and go once upstairs. But even before, I used to have to unplug to go and do my staircase. Now I can use the lift away feature, keep it plugged in and do my entire staircase all the way up, and then come back downstairs again and plug it all back in again. So if you have been thinking about getting a battery powered vacuum cleaner, but you're worried about it running out of power, because a lot of these vacuums, a lot of the battery powered ones, if you look at their battery life, they only last for the duration. Like they might say they last for example 30 minutes or 20 minutes on for they've got 20-minute battery life, but actually they only do that if you have them on low power, whereas when you have them on high power, they seem to drain their batteries within literally 5 to 10 minutes, which isn't enough to do a house. Whereas with something like this, you can have it on full power. You can, you don't have to worry about it being heavy, because you can disconnect the bits you don't want and you can use the lift away, and you can do your entire house and not have to worry about charging it or running out of battery. And especially on the Dyson battery powered models, they don't do interchangeable batteries, whereas on the Shark battery powered models, they do interchangeable batteries. So if you do run out of battery, you can plug another one in, whereas on the Dysons you can't. So that's something just to kind of bear in mind if you are looking at those models as well. So I just wanted to show you an example of where having a smaller head on the vacuum cleaner can be quite useful. So this little gap between my fireplace and my sofa, if I had my old Dyson, you can see I'd have to stop there at that point and then use the wand or something else to kind of clean through that carpet. Whereas if I use the Shark, you can see that having that kind of smaller head allows me to easily kind of manoeuvre through here and actually carry on vacuuming. So I don't have to detach from what I'm doing. And I can just carry on. Also, at this point here, for example, if I was with the Dyson and I wanted to try and vacuum as much as I could underneath the sofa, I would get to that point there, and that's pretty much as far as it will go. Okay. Now with the Shark, because it's got the lift away feature, if I just lift the Shark up, and if I press the lift away button, get that away, and you can see now, because of how this is designed, if I move that, I can actually make it go all the way underneath the sofa, all the way up until there before it gets stuck. So you can get much further under any kind of surface using this smaller head. So I think the smaller head is much more versatile than having a larger head, and this is so powerful that it sucks up everything anyway, so you have to do less passes to pick up things and debris and clean your carpet well anyway. And the final thing to show you really is stairs. So at the moment I'm at the bottom of my stairs, and you can see that having the vacuum at the bottom, I can easily just press this button here and I can detach it and then start cleaning my stairs as I would, and that will take you can see that flex. If I go up here and that's probably almost halfway up the stairs at this point. So that's kind of top of my stairs, it's going around the corner. It stretches pretty far before, and the vacuum cleaner is still not fallen over, it's just kind of pushed against the bottom. So you can get pretty far even with it being connected, but ideally if you want to go all the way up the stairs, you can then plug that in. Okay, this is where the lift away comes in. Use the lift away feature to pull that away, and now I can kind of walk all the way up the stairs by having that by itself, disconnecting the handle. Trying to do this with one hand is always a bit tricky, but there you go. I've got this whole contraption now, and I can now walk all the way up my stairs as far as I need to, carry this along with me, and obviously the bottom part is still down there, and I've got this all the way up, so now I can do all my stairs all the way up. Okay, so you can see it's pretty versatile with this, and takes all the hassle out of back breaking, carrying the vacuum cleaner upstairs, and you've got all the tools and techniques that you need to vacuum your entire house. So again, just to give you an example of that, I hope you find that useful. Said, any questions or comments you've got, let me know.